It can cross off its checklist for its inaugural season. They can now include becoming the first team to beat the Rochester Rhinos. Tonight, Independence face the New York Red Bulls 2 with a chance to put together its first three-game winning streak. But there's something greater at stake, the playoff race. Charlotte right now still 5 points back of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds for the final playoff spot, and they are 8 points behind the Red Bulls for fifth place. Tonight is the start of a home-and-home series with the Red Bulls that will continue next week at Red Bull Stadium. But for Independence, the time is now in regards to their playoff push as they enter the final third of the season. And we welcome you here tonight to the Ramblewood Soccer Complex. Jeff Hamlin here with you once again on YouTube. And once again joining us for the final time this year. Jack, great to see you again.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be back, Jeff. I've missed the last couple of weeks. I've enjoyed catching up with you about the games, and was pleasing to hear about the big win last week against Rochester Rhinos.
It was no question the best performance of the year by Independence. They scored a season-high 4 goals, the most goals that not only has Charlotte has scored this year, but also the most goals that Rochester has yielded in a game this year. The bad news for Charlotte in that game was the fact that they lost Alex Martinez to a yellow card. Of course, Martinez played the entire 90 minutes against the Rhinos, but that was his 5th yellow card. So Martinez is out for this game tonight. Jorge Herrera still has not recovered from the calf injury he suffered from just before the Louisville City game, so he will miss a 5th straight contest tonight. And that means Charlotte is really down to its bare bones in terms of depth on the offensive front.
Yeah, that's 2 big players. I mean, Jorge Herrera, the captain of the team, and leading assist on the team, so he's a big influence on the team. He takes all the free kicks, and just one of those players. And then obviously Alex Martinez, one of their most creative players, so he'll be a miss on the front end of things in the attacking third of the field. But like they say, it's a test of the squad here, and they've got Enzo Martinez, Alex's brother, who steps in, and also Carlos Alvarez. So they've got those players, and those players will be looking to step up tonight.
Well, certainly that's what Danny Jackson's going to have to do, as he will get a start tonight. And they face a New York Red Bulls 2 team that came into existence on January 21st. They have won 6 of its last 8 games, and they have won 4 of their last 5 on the road. Let's reel out the starting lineups for you tonight. First of all, for the New York Red Bulls 2, they will have Rafael Diaz starting in net. He is not the regular starter. In fact, Diaz has only played in a handful of games this year for New York. As coming into tonight, he had only played in 3 contests this season. Diaz has started 2 of those games. He is 1-0-1 officially on the year. Jamie Thomas and Bolo Akiande will be the wingbacks, and the center backs, Mac DeFont and Conrad Pliwa. Midfielders, Devin Williams, or Speedy Williams, as he goes by, Leo Stoles and Dan Bedoya. And the strikers up front in this 4-3-3 front, it will be Chris Sonis, the leading scorer on the team, along with Manolo Sanchez and Frank Castellanos. More about him and his heroics that he had against St. Louis FC later on in the broadcast. Meanwhile, for Charlotte Independence, for the final game of his 6-game loan, it will be Nat Lamson starting in net. Lamson was loaned to the team on July 3rd, just in time for the St. Louis FC game. Of course, Colorado Crew SC made the loan, and this is the final scheduled game for Lamson in a stint with Charlotte tonight, though that might change. The wingbacks will be Ben Noonan and Patrick Slogic. The center backs, Mishak Jerome and Belial Duckett. The midfielders, Enzo Martinez, along with defensive midfielder Andrew Ribeiro, Paulo Del Piccolo, and Carlos Alvarez, the other midfielders. And the strikers, Tomas Zahorsky not starting tonight. It will be Danny Jackson getting the start, who has scored 2 goals in the last 4 weeks for Independence, along with Dominique Badji, who is making just his 2nd start for Independence. Mike Jeffries, the head coach of Independence, as Charlotte looks to draw closer in the playoff hunt in what will be Charlotte's first weeknight home game of the year and their first weeknight game of the season in USL play. We're going to pause now for our national anthem here tonight from Rebelwood Soccer Complex as we get ready for the first ever meeting between Charlotte Independence and the New York Red Bulls 2. Next Wednesday, these two teams will meet in New Jersey. Tonight, they square off in the Queen City. It was announced in January that the New York Red Bulls 2 would become the latest team from MLS to have an offshoot team in USL. They joined Montreal Impact, the Los Angeles Galaxy 2. The Montreal Impact doing that, of course, as well. Seattle Sounders, Los Angeles Galaxy had that happen last year. Real Salt Lake would go on to create their own team. And tonight they go up against a Charlotte team that is very experienced, much more experienced, Jack, than New York Red Bulls 2. In fact, New York plays 8 professional rookies regularly. When you look at the Charlotte team, the back line, Mishak Jerome has been stellar ever since he came back from his stint with Haiti in the Gold Cup. Yeah, I mean, like you say, there's a lot more experience on their team. The New York Red Bulls, it's more of an academy and processing them. It's their sort of way of bringing players through. So generally, if you look down the roster, you do see a lot of data bursts that are, mid-90s, so young players. And it's just a chance and opportunity for the MLS side to really bed their youngsters in at a slightly lower level. And then prepare them then for the future in MLS. So one thing you can certainly say is that these two teams may be playing its best soccer of the season. We told you how New York has done especially well over the last few weeks, especially on the road in certain games. And Charlotte, of course, coming off the victory over the Rochester Rhinos. New York, again, has won 6 of its last 8 and 4 of its last 5 on the road. They've had a couple of victories over St. Louis SC sprinkled in there. And if Charlotte misses the playoffs, they can look back to that game that they dropped against St. Louis FC here on July the 4th when Kingsley Bryce scored in the 89th minute to break Charlotte hearts on Independence Day, ironically. But Charlotte's not thinking about that right now. And even without Jorge Herrera and Alex Martinez in the lineup, and this is the first game in Charlotte's history that they will have neither of those two players in the lineup, they're still looking for a way to knock off the New York Red Bulls and win 3 in a row for the first time in team history. And in order to do that, Danny Jackson's going to have to become a lot more stellar with the ball here tonight. We know, Jack, that he has an excellent shot, but he's not necessarily the best when it comes to trying to move the ball into open field.
Yeah, well, he had a lot of success in college, scored a lot of goals, and, you know, like you say, from a goal scorer, you look for, or from a forward, you look for a goal scorer, and he can do that, Daniel Jackson. And he's got a lot of pace. He's very athletic. The field is small here at Rumblewood, so it'll be interesting to see how many opportunities he gets to really use his pace and find that space to really explode into. So, but I know Independence, they know what he can do, and hopefully he can get in behind this Red Bulls defense tonight and cause them some problems.
Lining up over the ball, Chris Sanas. He boots it back to Speedy Williams, and we are underway here tonight at Ramblewood Soccer Complex between New York Red Bulls 2 and Charlotte Independence, the first of 2 games in 7 days between these two teams. Round 1 here tonight. Charlotte right away off the wing. Manolo Sanchez puts a cross in the corner. Matt Lampson gobbles that one right up. The Met deck not quite as populated tonight as you would expect since it is the first weeknight game. We're not expecting the biggest crowd of the season here, but we still have a pretty good one on hand as Independence takes the field in what is going to be an active night tonight in USL. Louisville City, which all of a sudden has become the main challenger for the Rochester Rhinos for the regular season championship. They're playing FC Montreal tonight. Meanwhile, Jackson tries to make a move to the far side, but he touched it last. To the far side of the field, we have Bulu Akiyande at that center back position. And here comes the man of the hour from Sunday, Frank Castellanos, and a foul is called as Paulo Del Piccolo got his hands on him from behind. Castellanos scored in the 90th minute on Sunday over at the Red Bull training grounds to defeat St. Louis FC 2-1, and what proved to be a pivotal victory for New York in the playoff race. That kept them squarely in 5th place. They are 9-7-4 coming into this game. Charlotte 6-6-5, putting their record at 500 for the first time all year after that decisive victory, and the upset victory, some would say, over Rochester. Patrick Slogic may be on the attacking side more, even though he is a wingback playing left back here tonight. Enzo Martinez, Danny Jackson has some room. Moving in on Akiyande. Akiyande does a fine job of booting it free and coming out of net quickly as Diaz to gobble it right up. Rafael Diaz getting just his 4th game this year. Usually it is Santiago Castano and his 3rd season as a professional who gets starts in net, but tonight Diaz takes his place. And Jack, I'm going to have to educate you about where you can find QPR this weekend because they're not, well, you know, not the Premier League and stuff. So
yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Sorry, I meant to do it later. We got it out of the way now. League pass ahead. Here's a chance, and Bruno makes a big save on Dan Bedoya. Nice pass put in there by Manolo Sanchez. It was a good ball early, and Lampson turned him away. It was a huge, huge turn back of Bedoya there. And that's already more saves tonight for Matt
Here's
Lampson.
a chance, and Bruno makes a big save on Dan Bedoya
against Rochester last week. Last week, Lampson gave up 2 goals, but he was not credited with the save. Got one there on a prime opportunity from Dan Bedoya, the rookie from St. John's. Jackson will try to catch up with the long ball provided by Slogic. He does so. Trots into the box looking for help. Akiyanda manages to put it away. Jackson regains it. Martinez with the cross. Bicycle attempt, no good by Del Piccolo, and then the attempt from Alvarez goes wide.
Yeah, lovely free kicks or set piece from left to right. Diagonal ball knocked about 50, 60 yards, goes in behind Akinyode for New York Red Bulls. And Badge gets in behind him and goes to work on the fullback and creates a good chance for Alvarez, who tries to curl it and bend it into that far corner, just doesn't quite get enough on it. But 2 good chances in 2 minutes here in the game, so a good start to the game.
I haven't seen Del Piccolo put a bicycle attempt like that very often. We saw that nearly resulted in a goal a couple of weeks ago from Tomasz Zahorski, but it was saved adroitly by FC Montreal's David Paulmine. Running up, Mishak Jerome sends one in the air. Alvarez, who had a goal and an assist on Saturday against Rochester, keeps the ball in play. Slogic tries to muscle in. He grabs Jamie Thomas, the wingback, from behind, but Thomas keeps his feet, works down against the 6'6" Slogic. And the ball out of play. Thomas is furious with the assistant for not getting a call. We have action here tonight in the USL. We have the CONCACAF Champions League underway, and tonight there will be a great matchup. If you're on the West Coast, stay up and watch it. First of all, here's an attempt from the side, and a goal! Frank Castellanos scores from 20 yards out as he beat Matt Lamson on the right side. And Castellanos scores his third goal and his second straight for the New York Red Bulls after he scored the game winner in the 90th minute on Sunday against St. Louis FC.
Yeah, it was a real touch of quality, Jeff. A good, clean strike there, tough technique, edge of the box, and he really drills it, puts it confidently into Lampus' left-hand side of the corner, and nothing really could do. Just a really good finish.
So 2 clean strikes. Lamson was fortunate to get Dan Bedoyas on the first one in the 2nd minute, but here in the 5th minute is Castellanos, the native of Honduras who played college soccer at Iona, scoring early, and Charlotte behind the 8 ball at home, down 1-0. Back comes New York after taking the 1-0 lead, and here's the leading scorer, Chris Sonis. Good challenge by Slogic. Makes the tackle, sends it away to Alvarez. So it's an unassisted goal for Frank Castellanos, man who scored for New York Red Bulls under-23 team last year when they won the MPSL championship over Chattanooga FC. So he's used to scoring in big games, and here he scores in what is a pivotal contest for New York's playoff chances and Charlotte's as well. Out of play, last touch by Alvarez.
New York Red Bulls really trying to put the Independents under a lot of pressure here early in the fight, the opening 10 minutes, as there's a good chance here at the byline.
Sanchez with the cross that goes over the end line.
Independents really trying to play out from the back, from the goalkeeper in Lamson, and New York Red Bulls committing 7-8 players, high, pressing the ball, and it got a little bit risky there on the edge of the box with Mishak and Lamson trying to play a ball, and Red Bulls ended up winning the ball back in a good area, and again getting to creating a good chance. So be interesting to see if Independent's going to adjust to this high pressure, and if they look to play a little bit director into the forwards a little bit earlier on, or continue to remain patient, switch the ball, and it'll just be interesting to see how they go about this, Independence.
I think the question we had coming into this game was going to be, where is the offense going to come from Independence tonight without Herrera and without Alex Martinez? Possibly the 2 players who get the most touches, at least aside from the center backs on the team.
Yep.
And so far, that is a question that is yet to be answered for Charlotte, who hasn't had any rhythm at all offensively. If you're just joining us, Frank Castellanos scores in the 5th minute for New York Red Bulls 2, and they lead 1-0. Castellanos played 75 matches with Iona, scoring 17 goals and recording 37 assists over the course of 4 years. He's been a part of the Red Bulls Academy for 3 years now. Slogic looks to spring up the field. Charlotte will once again have to come from behind. Good ball ahead. Badji is onside. Referee keeps his flag down. Badji trots down to the left, defended by Mike DeFont. Alvarez. Away goes to Andrew Rivera. Independence comes into this game after scoring 4 goals that took them from 21st in scoring in USL to 19th. They've scored 21 goals this far on the season in 17 games. Slogic in a 1v2. Alvarez takes over. Trots ahead. Ball is deflected off of Badji and stolen away. DeFont taken right back by Del Piccolo. Charlotte again looking for a man with the number 10. I'm not sure if somebody who's 6'6" can do it. Give and go here. Del Piccolo, Slogic trots it in front of the net. It goes right in front of the 6-yard box as Badji couldn't race up to get it. Charlotte keeps it in play. Martinez, entry in. Ribeiro had it headed away. Nicely done by DeFont. Now the header on. Badji has it go just wide right. No, it's Jackson, excuse me. golden opportunity there for Charlotte, and finally they find a flow, and I thought that Slogic couldn't be the man that got the attack started, but
yeah,
I was wrong.
Lovely little nimble feet from the big man Slogic there. Just on the left wing here. He turns sharply, creates a nice little 1-2 with Del Piccolo in the midfield. Not something that you'd expect out of your big man, but he showed great feet and got to the byline into a good area and put a delightful ball just across the face of the goal, willing someone just to go and get on the end of it. But another half chance for Charlotte.
Conrad Pliwa also key in clearing out that attack without New York giving up any goals. Martinez takes it back down to the right. Here comes Independence again, down already a goal. Jackson with a good lead ball in for Martinez. Danny will drop it off. Cross put in. Ribeiro had an opportunity, but it was nicely put down by Jamie Thomas, and Thomas went down on the play. Foul's going to be called against Ribeiro as Thomas immediately went down, which he is prone to do.
Yeah, that's 5 or 6 good balls now that Independence have put in the box. The one before that Slogic got to the byline and we're all across the face of the box, and then I think it was Jackson who whipped the ball in for Badji, who just nodded wide, and now they've put another good ball into the box, and it was Ribeiro arriving late on the back post, and he puts his head in there fairly and obviously just catches the Red Bulls defender there in the face.
Jamie Thomas,
Jamie Thomas, yeah, looks like nothing intentional, I don't think at all. He was
Nope.
arriving late, good ball, good deep ball into the back post. So I think Independence are responding well to going 1 down.
They're going to have to be in a situation down 1-0. Thomas still on the pitch here. We were talking before the game here, Jack, and you were here for the Charleston game that was back on June the 20th. That was the first game played here at Ramblewood. You remarked constantly about how poor the pitch was that night, but there's been a lot of improvement in the month and a half since then. Yeah,
there's obviously been a lot of work going, Jeff. As you can see now, the pitch looks, a real lush green, and looks like the ball's playing a lot better. And if all the stadiums are in now, and it's looking great. It's obviously testament to the hard work that's gone on in the past 3 or 4 weeks. But no, it looks great.
Don't believe a foul was issued there. It looked like Dustin Thorin, the head official, just stopped the game for injury as Jamie Thomas is being helped off the field. For now, Thomas is going to check out, but no substitution will come in, and New York will play with 10 for the time being. Looks like that will be a short stint shorthanded. Alvarez will probably just turn it right back over to New York, and he will. And Thomas now goes back into the game. I mentioned, as he is wont to do, that's happened a couple of times. Happened against St. Louis FC, happened against Richmond one other time, but it's been a New York team that's had good play from its back line. We talked about how young they are. They have 9 players among their top 14 in minutes who are rookies.
Well,
they have several of those rookies playing tonight, Jamie Thomas included. Jerome, fresh off his stint of playing for Haiti in the Gold Cup. Not quite in the World Cup. He'll play in some qualifiers, perhaps. He boots it along. Jackson, Belial Duckett. Jackson playing as more of an outfielder tonight, not just simply on the wing. And that's something he wouldn't ordinarily do, but of course Charlotte wouldn't ordinarily be without Jorge Herrera and Alex Martinez. Looks like right now Charlotte's just looking for a steady ball handler.
Yep.
Duckett down to the right. Enzo Martinez looking for room to make the play, but he can't. You'll notice off in the distance, you'll see various practices going on. There's a whole full day of events here at Ramblewood Soccer Complex. Lots of kids have wrapped up their summer practice day and decided to come on into the stadium and check out the action. That's made for a pretty good crowd for a Wednesday night.
Yeah, one of the local youth clubs, Charlotte United, had their pre-season camps going on. It's getting that sort of time now that they get into the youth soccer season. So they've been out there, and some of them have filtered in, which is nice to see.
That's absolutely right. We're almost at the end of summer. There's Sonis. Long pass ahead, and it's a good ball down the field. That was, Conrad Pliwa to Sonis. Now Jamie Thomas to go. Good fake on Slogic. Inserts the ball into the right, but it zips right through the box. We're almost at that time where fall is here. Seems like we just started the whole season back in March. It was on a chilly night where Charlotte, in front of over 2,200 fans, took on Charleston Battery. And this is a team that's been through ups and downs and through 3 different home locations. But here they are now in the thick of the playoff hunt.
Yeah, still very much in that, Jeff. You know, to say I think they said they were, they've got 3 games in hand on Pittsburgh.
That's right.
And they're only 5 points off them. You know, they're 8 points off New York, but again, they're 3 games in hand on them. So this is really a 6-pointer for them. It's
That's
the ability to take 3 points off them and actually gain 3 points. So it's a big one tonight. Hopefully they can come back and get something out of this one.
No question.
Still very much in the hunt.
Well, you got a home and away here, and then the week after that, there'll be a home and away with Pittsburgh, and those 4 games are going to tell the tale of Charlotte's playoff fortunes.
Yeah.
Fans were upset that Sonis wasn't whistled for a handball as he tried to take the ball in. New York retains possession, and it's attacking third. This is Manolo Sanchez, bullied off the ball by Slogic, who sends it 40 yards up the field. Speedy Williams sends it back. Pliwa, the native of Poland, who played at Seton Hall up in New Jersey. Akiyanda. Talked about Speedy Williams. His name is Devin Williams, but the Jamaican native prefers to go by Speedy. Over to Leo Stoles and a giveaway. Ribeiro there to take it back. The lead for Martinez. There's Jackson looking a little, Badji looking a little indecisive. Here's Ribeiro, and Charlotte will pull it back now. Slide it to the left, looking in the box. Forced to give it up. Charlotte, 16th in USL. That's the New York Red Bulls. Have the wrong side of the sheet. They're 15th in shots per game. They are 4th in goals against average. And that's with 5 different goalkeepers sharing time in net this season. Header played back that time by Stoles. Up the field. Giveaway. Jackson tries to hand it down, but he can't. It looks like Danny's still trying to get used to being more of an open fielder instead of a collect and strike striker.
Yes. Is that Daniel Jackson?
Yes.
Yeah, he is, yeah. Well, I mean, he's played up the middle through his college days, centre forward. He's now out, in a wider right area, maybe allow him to drift inside to get on the ball. But, I mean, he does possess a lot of pace, and maybe they feel there's a good matchup out wide for him, or he can exploit his in the wider areas.
Pliwa takes away that attempt by Slogic. Ball out of play. Slogic with the throw. Referee thought that Slogic was taking that win about 10 yards further up the field than he should have. Have a very nice night here after a sweltering, sultry day here in the Charlotte area where temperatures reach 98 degrees. Humidity has managed to go down to about 37% here at game time. Williams clears it up the field. Sonis is there to play it away. And back comes New York. It'll be Stoles. Crossfield pass goes too far for Castellanos. And Castellanos takes it back, looks for Sonis, turned back by Jerome. Ribeiro is there. Here's Carlos Alvarez now, off his 3-point game on Saturday against Rochester. His lead too far for Badji. If you're just joining us, it was a 5th-minute goal by Frank Castellanos. His 3rd of the season. An unassisted goal from 20 yards out that gave the New York Red Bulls 2 a 1-0 lead. Del Piccolo there to play it. Enzo Martinez also had a 3-point game. Stripped the ball from behind by Speedy Williams. No call. Off the field comes Stoles. This is Sonis with it. Chris Sonis. Leo Stoles, the native of Germany who played collegiately at UCLA. Hugs the right sideline and can't keep it in play. Stoles actually played in Germany and was offered a senior contract by Munich 1860, but said he wanted to play college soccer instead. Started at George Mason, spent his freshman year there, and then wound up playing his final 3 seasons with the Bruins.
Yeah, he looks like a good size athlete. Technical ability looks good. He's been available, connected pass as well, and he looks very, very comfortable at this level here, and especially in this game now in the first opening 20 minutes.
This is a team that looks very composed and collective, even though they field 8 rookies here tonight. Stoles in the box now. Sonis looked for the give and go, but Meshach Jerome, as steady as a rock at the center back position, again managed to disrupt that play. Noonan has had few chances tonight, got that one there, and sends it off of Akiyanda and out of play. What we thought was going to be among the lowest crowds of the season has turned into a very nice one here tonight for Independence, and we'll see if this picks up here. This was very much the case against Rochester on Saturday. It looked like it was going to be quite a strong a crowd, but as the game wore on, it was just a late arriving crowd, one that didn't show up on time as opposed to not at all. We talked about Meshach Jerome, the native of Haiti. In his 6th professional season, was injured in a friendly after tearing his ACL playing for the Richmond Kickers against Crystal Palace last summer. Missed a full calendar year and has returned to Charlotte and has looked all USL. He may not get that award when the awards are announced at the end of the year because he missed 5 weeks of action playing with Haiti, but he certainly should be in the running. Badji collects the pass from Newnham. Del Piccolo, he's hounded by Castellanos. Away goes Martinez, finds Del Piccolo again. Paulo doesn't cough off possession yet. Castellanos being strong defensively. Del Piccolo, Jackson now. Enzo working in. Enzo near the penalty spot fires. It was deflected off a foot of Jamie Thomas, and it'll be the first corner of the night for Charlotte.
Another good chance, Jeff, for Charlotte. And they're still remaining patient with the ball, even though the New York Red Bulls are allowing them to press the ball. New York Red Bulls allow them to play out to the 2 fullbacks. And where they've got a bit of success early on is with the initiating attack by hitting a 40, 50-yard diagonal ball and switching the play from left to right quickly. And it's enabled them to find a little bit more space and connect 2 or 3 passes to open up the New York Red Bulls defense.
Slogic trying to put himself in position. His jersey was held as that corner was sent in by Del Piccolo, who's doing the corner honors tonight without Alex Martinez in there. Here's Enzo Martinez with a strike, and it just goes wide. We're absolutely right, though. That may be a low percentage pass once you're swinging it 40, 50 yards down the field, but that's, again, what's so valuable about Meshach Jerome and, to a lesser extent, Bilal Duckett when he gets the opportunity.
Yeah. I think, it's 2 or 3 times they've created half chances or chances from initiating the attack from midfield and hitting that diagonal ball. So I think that's the tactic to go. Like you say, it is a lower percentage pass. If you get it wrong, then it can cause problems. But so far, so good.
Back the other way, Manolo Sanchez running back down. Castillo, Speedy Williams had the pass go past his foot. Jerome was there to break it up. Enzo Martinez goes down. Jamie Thomas took him down without a call, and then Enzo taken down again. There was a call. Quick restart. Here's Newnham, and he can't keep it in play.
Well, that's excellent from the Independence. Enzo gets up, not worried about the foul. He's not moaning the referee, gets on with it, and Del Piccolo picks a lovely first-time ball, exploiting the fact that the left-back's gone, and unfortunately, I'm not sure who it was, just couldn't quite bring it down. It was
Newnham,
yeah. Newnham there out at right-back who was getting forward, just couldn't quite bring the ball under control. We're
seeing both of the cornerbacks for Charlotte attack more up the field in the absence of Herrera and Alex Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
As we've seen Slogic and Newnham center in very quickly.
Yeah. Slogic's got forwards once or twice, and Newnham's obviously looking to get forwards too. So I think that's the way the space is. Or New York Red Bulls are allowing the 2 fullbacks the space and really pressing the ball high up, really hard and high up through the middle of the central areas of the field.
Jamie Thomas working against Slogic, puts a good corner in. Jerome was there, that was Duckett that was there to head it away. Danny Jackson will keep it in play. Goal was scored in the 5th minute from Frank Castellanos. That put the New York Red Bulls ahead 1-0. Enzo Martinez overruns the long ball. That was taken right back by DeFont. And the New York Red Bulls will take it back now with Conrad Pliwa, Jamie Thomas, Pliwa, and DeFont on that back line in a 3-4-4 setup. Hard touch by Ribeiro out of play. DeFont from 3 different colleges. Started at Bryant University in the Northeast, continued his play in the Northeast at Longwood, and then went on to the University of Rio Grande Valley. Castellanos down to the left, has Newnham beat, room to operate. Castellanos tried to get to Sanas, sliding tackle made. Fine challenge by Bilal Duckett, who might have saved the goal. Sanas, the leading scorer on the team. Long ball from Badji down the field. It's a foot race. Badji chips over a cross. He'll score! White Whale, Holy Grail, Dominique Badji, his first goal for Independence. And Jacket came up a stellar long ball.
Yeah, Charlotte crowd really enjoying that Independence crowd here. And you know what? And it came from New York Red Bulls had an absolutely fantastic chance about 30 seconds prior to that. Bilal Duckett timed his challenge brilliantly inside the 6-yard box. The ball fell out to Enzo Martinez, who hit a delightful, again, a diagonal long ball, 50 yards. Badji makes a fantastic run, peels off his shoulder. A little bit of indecision from Rafael Diaz. Decided not to come, and then a delightful finish from Badji. He can't take anything away, just chips it over him, just lifts it over him. 1-1 Independence. And
Badji winds up scoring on the assist from Martinez. It was a stellar finish, though, because when the goalkeeper has to come out like that, there are all sorts of ways you can go with how you want to finish it. Badji chose to loft it instead of trying to send a line drive, and it was a gorgeous finish by Dominique Badji. May not be done. Alvarez plays it for Badji on the left, matched up against Thomas. Drops it off. Martinez ahead to Alvarez at the penalty spot. 2 men on him. Danny Jackson still in the box on the right. Room to operate, and it's a sliding tackle to send out of play by DeFont. So for Alvarez, missed the opportunity there. But Danny Jackson had his chances. DeFont made a fine sliding play to keep it at 1-1. For Enzo Martinez, that will be his 4th assist of the season. Enzo had an assist last week. Got one to Tomas Ohorski in the first half of that victory over Rochester. Turned out to be the second goal of the game. Wasn't quite the game winner. Now a fine pass up the field. Castellanos managed to break free from Duckett. It's a foot race. He's got Sanas alongside him. There's the fire attempt, and it just goes wide. That was Sanas with the ball as he sprinted on a 2-on-3. Wound up having Manolo Sanchez to his right, but
smart
shot
turn.
missed the target.
Yeah, smart turn by Sanas at half. At the halfway line here, Duckett got really tight to him. He just managed too tight to him, and he span him really, really well. Got him behind his left-footed shot, just creeping wide of the post, but a nice little turn there on.
So Dominique Badji winds up scoring. Man who was loaned to Charlotte just before the Rochester game by Colorado Rapids. As the working agreement between those two teams continues. On an assist from Enzo Martinez. Goal came in the 24th minute. And Charlotte has even things at 1. Alvarez plays it left. Jackson will try to keep up with it and does. Danny keeps it in play. Oh, nicely done by Akiyande. Now the ball hit back, and it was nearly an own goal, but it wasn't on angle as it ricocheted off the body of Speedy Williams. Now Slogic ricochets off his leg, shoved by Thomas, and that's going to be a foul. He pushed off on Badji.
They've given offside.
Oh, excuse me, he called it offside.
Yeah, they've given offside. Yeah,
still playing FIFA rules. I play with offside off on FIFA 2015, so that's the reason why I didn't catch that one there.
You like scoring goals, Jeff?
Yes, I do. Doesn't mean I do it, of course, but I like scoring them when I can.
Cherry picking, Jeff?
Yeah, huh?
Cherry picking.
Yeah, you know. Sometimes you have to play by those indoor soccer rules.
Hey, every man to his own.
That's
every
right.
Man to his own.
Here's Sanchez. Plays it nicely to Stoles. Then it was Bedoya going after it. Slogic tries to slide in on a tackle. Taken back by Stoles on the right. 1-1 after Charlotte equalized things. Castellanos wound up scoring the first goal of the night. The entry there by Sanchez taken away by Jerome. Now Badji had a blind look at it. Jumped before the ball had come past his head. Del Piccolo keeps the pressure on. Del Piccolo picked up his first assist of the season last week against Rochester. Del Piccolo goes down, and we have a foul called. That'll be against Pliwa. Alvarez with a quick restart. DeFont will shut down Enzo. Down goes DeFont. Enzo complaining. He's going to be hit with the foul. And he and referee Dustin Thorne trade words, and Enzo has to be careful because he's already picked up a yellow this season. Keep in mind that once you pick up 5 separate yellow cards, that results in a suspension, and the next one-game suspension comes from players who get their 8th yellow card. Alex Martinez sitting out, of course, this game tonight because of the 5th yellow that he picked up on Saturday against the Rhinos. Out of the net comes Diaz to send it up the field. Speedy Williams turns it over. Alvarez had a chance, but that was shut down by DeFont. Here's Williams, Alvarez. They duel. Down goes Williams. Foul against Alvarez. It is 1-1 as we're in the 27th minute. And this critical matchup between these two teams right now, Charlotte, they are 8 back of the New York Red Bulls 2 for 5th place. But more to the point, Charlotte is 5 back of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds for the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Ribeiro. DeFont plays it up the field. Lead ball nicely done by Enzo. Jackson will run it down. He's going to play it for Badji. Overshot. Alvarez is there from 8 yards out. Save is made by Diaz.
New York Red Bulls defenders and midfielders slow to recover. Switched off, really. The left back, Thomas there, switched off at the back post, allows his man to go through. Alvarez brings the ball down brilliantly, and it's a good shot. And this time it's a smart save by Rafael Diaz.
Diaz did a superb job that time, fending it away from the post. As Alvarez was looking for his second goal in as many weeks, it would have been his 3rd of the season. He scored on a penalty a few days ago. Now it will be Enzo Martinez taking the corner. Alvarez will give him a short option. Slogic and Jackson in the box as Charlotte puts their big bodies in, as you would expect. Enzo sends it away. Header put on, and Diaz made a great save on Slogic, who was bidding for his 4th of the year.
Enzo whips it in with great pace. Look into an area where he can, they sent the 2 big men in Slogic and duck it up there. And obviously that's something they've worked on, and hit the ball into that area with real pace. And Slogic gets a good head on it, and unfortunately was just directs it straight towards Diaz, who's there to just softly palm it down.
Patrick is the man that has scored offset pieces twice this year. He scored Charlotte's first ever game-winning goal against Louisville City in their first ever victory back on May the 2nd. Here's another one of those cross-field looks. Comes from Bilal Duckett. Alvarez takes it clean. Again, they flip the field here, Jack. Here comes Slogic to the left. He'll play it in. Goes to the top of the box. Williams is there to clear it away. Jerome maintains possession. Minute 32 now. 1-1 between Charlotte and the New York Red Bulls 2. Met Deck, as you see, off in the distance. The Charlotte fans will get a chance to harass Diaz when he plays at that net during the second half. Noonan looking for the ball at the other side, headed out of play by Castellanos, who scored to begin the contest in the 5th minute. Charlotte struck back with a goal from Dominique Badji, his first in an Independence uniform from Enzo Martinez. Jackson goes down. It was a clean strip by DeFont. And back come the Red Bulls, too. Muscled off the ball. Ribeiro just takes it right away from Sanchez. Here comes Enzo Martinez, young man who played at UNC in his 3rd professional season, the native of Uruguay. Nuno, Del Piccolo now. Nice sidestep and a nice sidestep of Akiande. Piccolo has improved his dribbling as this year has gone on. Martinez ridden down from behind, and the assistant holds the flag up. Foul against Akiande.
Well, it's lovely feet from Del Piccolo in tight areas with players around him, just moving the ball and manipulating the ball into spacing, working the ball well. But Charlotte Independence really start, for the last 15, 20 minutes or so, I would say, really start to dominate this game and take control, especially in I think that midfield 3 in Ribeiro. Del Piccolo and Martinez have really started to influence the game and get on the ball and really take charge here and creating chances for, put the balls into good areas, in wide areas. And Badji and Jackson have been and drifting out into those areas and creating problems. And you add Slogic there overlapping and Newman, and it's looked really good.
Been stellar center back play. Del Piccolo goes right to the net, and Diaz has to snap up to make this catch. Piccolo was looking for his first goal of the year there as he put that free kick on net. That was somewhat of a surprise.
Yeah.
Don't usually see, of course, Paulo doesn't take a lot of free kicks. Usually it's Alex Martinez. But again, Charlotte and a beggars can't be choosy. And now a terrible clearance. Badji is free, puts it on net, but Diaz just got a fingertip on it off a faulty clearance. And Badji, after a stellar close last time out, wishes he had that one back.
Yeah, well, I've never seen anything like it in my life, Jeff.
Wow.
Diaz goes to side volley, kick it completely, shanks his clearance 5 yards out from outside his 18-yard box, falls right to Badji's feet, takes a good first touch and just pulls his shot wide. And fortunately for Diaz, saves his blushes there.
Oh, a nice back heel kick by Stoles down the field. Thomas plays it alongside. Bedoya tried to race up for it, succeeds. Sonis is there. Here's Williams. Boy, that was a strange sequence there. Badji had a 2-on-0.
Yeah, Diaz will be glad to see that one go wide.
It was Badji along with Danny Jackson as the ball goes over the end line. Really, Dominique was impatient there. If he had been a little more forthcoming, he could have dribbled that one in and sent it away to Jackson, and Charlotte's got a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, the ball unexpectedly falls to Badji. All of a sudden,
at his feet,
and he's got to get his mind thinking quickly. It's something that was very, very unexpected for him, and I'm sure he'd have loved to have it back a second time. He'd have made a different decision. Maybe they'd choose to loft it over the keeper again, but I think Rafael Diaz can count his lucky stars there.
Yeah, not only that, but I thought he managed to touch it just a little bit.
He may have done.
But the referee ruled a goal kick. Slogic sends it in off the throw. He and Sanchez tie up for it, and the foul will be called against Slogic. So a strange set of events there. It's a good thing that Diaz is not a punter, because if he was, he would have been cut immediately after sending that one maybe in American football distance, maybe 15 yards down the field, maybe.
Well, I think that's being generous,
That
Jeff.
might be generous,
I think that might be generous.
Boy, a dangerous pass there by Slogic. Duckett was there to clear it. Did so right in front of his own net. And now Sonis with an opportunity, it was Bedoya with the opportunity, but he missed it wide.
Yeah, Lamson not too happy with his back four there. Given away sloppily by, I think it was Slogic, and then I think it was Castello, was it, on the edge of the box, who ended up, Castellans ended up taking the final shot, but wasn't closed down anywhere near quick enough. Actually, probably had more time than he thought just to take what was ended up being a pretty tame shot that went wide.
So 2 poor finishing attempts, I should say. Up the field comes Sonos with a sidestep Duckett. Down to the right side, Stoles plays it nicely. Now Sonis, but he was denied very well by Slogic. Here's Thomas looking to switch the field on his own. Castellanos with a nice flip. Goes to the back. That was cleared away momentarily by Del Piccolo. Pass away, Speedy Williams. And New York now getting a chance to try to set something up as this half winds to a close. Pliwa moves it to the right side. Sanchez. Step over on Slogic. Gets it in the box, and Lampson put a stop to that. As we come up on the 38th minute now, still locked up at 1 in what's been an action-packed half. Missed chances for both teams, really. And, of course, you have to go back to Charlotte's chance in the first half there. Just moments ago off the terrible clearance by Diaz that resulted in a 2-on-0, but Dominique Badji couldn't put it in for the brace. Akiande. Speedy Williams. It's got Stoles, overshot him. Alvarez is there. Here comes Charlotte. Ribeiro, Badji with a quick touch. Del Piccolo plays to the right. Enzo Martinez will catch up to that one to keep it in play. Looks in the box. Goes to the edge, looks for Badji, overshot him. Thomas heads it out. Alvarez keeps it in. Then a loft by Alvarez. Diaz looked a little bit hesitant. So did Danny Jackson, and Diaz was first to the ball.
Yeah, I think if Jackson had gone after that with a bit more conviction, I think Diaz was in the same sort of frame of mind. So I think who really wanted it got it there, and it was in a precarious sort of area of the box, wasn't it? And I think Jackson thought Diaz was going to be coming a little bit more convincingly than he did. But that's the second or third time Jackson's done.
Martinez shot it off the back of Badji, his own teammate, now to play. Well, again, goes back to Danny's inexperience. This is just his second start of the year.
Yep. And
just the 5th game that he's played. He played the first game against Charleston And then came a long absence. He went 11 games without seeing action before he came in on July 4th as a sub against St. Louis, and he scored the equalizer that night against SLFC.
Yep. Well, he's obviously been working hard in training, Jeff. I mean, he's 11 games on, almost that in weeks too, and now he's worked his way obviously back into the starting lineup. So
that's right.
He's obviously got his head down and done the work as we're breaking 3v2 here. Enzo Martinez.
Yep, here comes Enzo down to the right side off the ball by Del Piccolo. Enzo Alvarez to the right side. Oh, the golden opportunity was just a little bit off. Badji slid late. A great setup by Alvarez on a three-way passing play. And Badji again couldn't finish.
Yeah, you know what, Jeff? I think Badji might have actually been in an offside position. I think Alvarez actually had more time on the ball. It was 3v2. Enzo Martinez breaks down the field, 3v2 with the ball. Two defenders, back off, and he squares the ball to Alvarez, who sort of mishits his shot. I think he was trying to pass it into the bottom corner, mishits it towards Badji, who was actually drifting into an offside position. Badji had been making the run to the front post, but anyhow, another great chance for Independence.
Well, they've had two odd man rushes in the last 10 minutes after Badji. Now Castellanos sets it up in front, a diving attempt at a clearance by Duckett. Charlotte will concede the corner. Castellanos dribbling to the right. Actually, this is not going to be a corner.
No,
they're going to rule offside here.
Yeah, an offside decision.
As Manolo Sanchez, man who played at Clemson University, native of Philadelphia, was whistled. Sanchez started his college career at Louisville and then transferred to Clemson after 2 seasons. He was All-USL Week 7 after scoring his first professional goal. It turned out to be the game winner back on May 3rd in New York's 3-2 victory over Pittsburgh. So we remain tied, but we have not lacked for action here tonight at Ramblewood. Castellanos plays it along the sideline. He was looking for Sanas to catch up with it. Enzo caught up with it first. Long pass ahead, bounced off the shoulder of the onrushing Thomas, and then Alvarez tugs down Thomas, who wants a card. Foul was already card against Alvarez. Thomas wants a card on Alvarez. He might pick one up for himself.
Yeah, Thomas, I think he's just under a little bit of pressure, Thomas, that's all. And I think you see the frustration there. He's asking, Alvarez kicked him, which Alvarez certainly didn't do. He was just, they're finding a little bit of space in behind, your Thomas there with the diagonal ball. And you had Slorgic, who's been getting around him too. He's been often left in 2v1 situation. I think it's just starting to wear on him last minute, starting a little bit frustrated, a little bit of frustration creeping into his game.
You can feel the intensity of the playoff chase picking up here. Slorgic sends away that cross. Castellanos. Sanchez, to Thomas. Speedy Williams back over to Sanchez on the right. He's got Stoles, sends it to Stoles, sent it too far. So after this game, these two teams will play again a week from tonight. That will be Charlotte's next game, and then Charlotte will head to Pittsburgh for a Saturday affair at Highmark Stadium against the Riverhounds in what is going to be a critical contest. Those two teams for the playoff chase, and then Charlotte turns right back around, and they'll play Pittsburgh on August 22nd here in Ramblewood. So these next 4 games are going to determine, by and large, whether Charlotte makes the playoffs or not. The biggest test of the season, in fact, the whole season, is right here. Noonan on the throw. Jackson is there, back to Ben, another loanee from Colorado. Nice ball by Jackson. He's ahead. Danny Jackson moving to the right, stripped away from behind by Thomas. And 50 yards up the field, DeFon is there to clear it.
Just couldn't quite find that yard of space just to get his shot off and find that bottom corner. New York defender stood him up well and closed the space on him quickly, and he missed it. He really just missed his opportunity to get the shot off a little bit earlier, I feel.
Another long ball attempt that time, sent in by Jerome. That would miss Carlos Alvarez, who was marked closely by Pliwa. So the long ball strategy, which Charlotte really hasn't had to utilize, they're utilizing it now without 2 of their best playmakers in Jorge Herrera, who is injured, and Alex Martinez, who is suspended. Gentlemen in the stands offering us nachos. That was very nice of him, but I've already killed my diet today with a nice bit of Chipotle. We'll blame them for that.
That's not too bad at all, Jeff. That's
nothing like giving them free sponsorship, huh? They better remember that. Here's Enzo Martinez off the touch from Alvarez. Goes off Pliwa's leg. Down goes Badji. No foul called. A little surprised over that one.
Interesting. That was halfway. I could have gone either way because it went through the back of Badji. You know, me being an Independence man, it's a foul.
Enzo kneels it ahead. Ribeiro there to save possession. And it goes off Thomas out of play. Now, a lot of fans come in. Some of the parents who heard about the goings-on here tonight at Ramblewood decided after practice to stay away from the house a little bit longer and sit on in the stands, and we've got a good crowd here tonight.
Yeah, it's a nice evening.
Excuse me?
It's a nice evening, Jeff, you know.
Yeah.
Great evening for soccer, and some good soccer, too, actually being played. So.
Yes, very eventful game. Jerome got away from Sanas. Del Piccolo, his lead pass eludes Jackson. He'll still make a run for it. Diaz will shield him from the ball. Now, I hate to bring back QPR here, but they've got who?
You know what, Jeff? I haven't even looked.
You haven't even looked
this opening weekend. I don't know who they kick off against. That's
okay.
And that's quite shameful for me. My father would be very disappointed with me.
Well, you've been recruiting a lot for Wingate. So.
I have been. So no, they do kick off. They are in the championship this year, so it'll be a good fight for them to try and get back up into the Premiership. Yep. But.
It will be those. It will be the Rangers along with Hull City and Burnley, who
that's right. Yeah, they went
had
down.
to get relegated, unfortunately.
That is a tough league to play in. You know, English second division there.
And with the FFP system in play, it will no doubt get tougher.
Yeah, exactly.
Foul called against Newnham to the far end of the field as we've entered added time, 2 minutes of injury time. As Jack's Militia sounds off against that call from referee Dustin Thorne. Red Bulls scored the 5th minute. Frank Castellanos did the honors. Charlotte came back in the 32nd minute from Dominique Badji, his first goal in the USL. Long huddle here between Castellanos and Pliwa, who are standing up beside the ball. It'll be Castellanos taking the corner. Up, Del Piccolo sends it away. It precariously goes in the air, but Alvarez is there to shield off Bedoya. Sends it straight up in the air. Speedy Williams heads it back into the box. Look out, it goes into the Met deck. Getting a foot on it was Sanas, the leading scorer on his team, bidding for goal number 5 on the year, but it hit off the railing of the Met deck.
Yeah, good chance from New York for New York Red Bulls. You know, it really out of nothing either. You know, Alvarez clears the ball. Maybe could have made a bit of a better decision to clear the ball out towards the touchline here as opposed to clearing the ball down the centre of the field. And Speedy Gonzalez-Williams, he heads one back into the box. And fortunately for Independence, the connection from, I think it was Tonis, was just a little bit over the bar. So
yep.
At this stage of the game, you know, it's important that they keep going with the scoreline of 1-1.
That's right, especially in the final moments here of the first half. Danny Jackson going to be hit with a foul here. And now Del Piccolo sounds off about it. Dustin Thorne sounds off his whistle saying, I think I've heard enough. And I believe we're going to see some cards being issued left and right here in the final 45 minutes of this game. First of all, it's Sanchez. Touched by Thomas. And there's the final whistle of the first half. So these two teams have not lacked for chances. Charlotte had a 2-0 after getting the equalizer. Dominique Badji nearly had his second of the game. And if all touches go right on net, chances are Badji's got a hat trick before the first half ends. Didn't work out that way. And Charlotte, even with the New York Red Bulls 2 at 1 as we go to halftime.
Yeah, I mean, from a neutral's perspective, what a great first half. You know, good chances for both teams. And good bit of different spells. Obviously, New York Red Bulls started really well, pressing the ball high up the field and scored a good goal. But fair play to Charlotte. Hats off to them. They didn't ruffle their feathers. They stuck to the game plan. They worked their way into the game and created some chances for themselves. And like you say, Badji lucky not to have 2 or possibly 3.
Yep.
So I think Coach Jeffries will be happy with what he's seen this first half, and they'll look to replicate much of it. Maybe start a little bit quicker than they did in the first half and the second half, but look to replicate and build on what they've just shown there in the first half.
Absolutely. Well, Charlotte playing shorthanded once again here tonight, but once again they haven't let it shown. They have had plenty of opportunities. Only one, though, has managed to cross the goal line, and Independence even with the New York Red Bulls 2 at 1. I'm Jeff Hanlon with Jack Fundum, and we will come back here in about 10 minutes live here from Ramblewood Soccerplex on YouTube as we'll carry on with the second half of tonight's contest. Stay with us.
It was a good first half.
Jeff Hamlin, Jack Vundam here with you as we return to action at Ramblewood Soccer Complex. 1-1 the score between Charlotte Independence and the New York Red Bulls 2. Going to quickly look over our 2 goals from the game thus far. It started with a goal in the 5th minute that came from Frank Castellanos, the native of Honduras, who part one in from 20 yards out. He scored to make it 1-0, and then Charlotte scored in the 24th minute. Dominique Badji scores a chip shot. The assist from Enzo Martinez, a beautiful long ball that led to the breakaway. That was a breakaway that was cashed in. Little did we know that Charlotte would have 2 other opportunities. In fact, a breakaway that literally landed at the feet of Dominique Badji off a horrid clearance by New York Red Bulls goalkeeper Rafael Diaz, but Badji wound up botching that opportunity as he went wide to the right. And we have Ryan Finley. Ryan Finley's going to check in for Danny Jackson here to start the first half. And frankly, Jack, I think more consistent striker play is all that's keeping Charlotte from making this a 3-1 game.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've only scored 21 goals in the whole season. It's been the problem all year. And, you know, for them to score the 4 goals as they did last week against Rochester was huge, as we said. But as you say, they've taken Daniel Jackson out. I think, you know, creating the chances isn't the problem. The build-up play is really, really good. You know, they get the ball, they work the ball into good areas, they create good chances. They just haven't been able to get that striker that's scoring 9, 10, 11 goals, which you'll find if you look at the leading stats for goal scorers in the league. Those top 5 or 6 are on 9, 10, 10, 10, 12, and 16. So if they had that goal scorer in them, they might find themselves at least 3 or 4 places higher up the league.
There's no question about that. They'd be further up the table, but Charlotte hasn't had those chances, or at least they haven't cashed in those chances. They have had those chances, but now we see Ryan Finley check into the game. For somebody who is the 2nd leading scorer on the team, Finley has played sparingly as of late. Finley making his 15th appearance of the season in this game. Long ball ahead, Newnham finds Martinez to the right. Catching up with it, Badji scores! And that's what we've been waiting for. It took all of 18 seconds, and Dominique Badji has given Charlotte Independence a 2-1 lead. Go ahead, make my day.
Fantastic start. You know, we said with it. Hopefully the Independent same, just replicate what they've done in the first half. Could they start a little bit quicker? And wow, did they ever start quicker? Right from the kickoff, Jeff. Right from the kickoff, worked the ball beautifully down here on the right. Worked in behind the left back again. You know, Ayonde, Akinyode, and Martinez squared the ball for Badji, who made absolutely no mistake whatsoever this time round and took his time, controlled the ball with a nice firm pass, and it's 2-1 Independence.
The assist goes to Enzo Martinez, his 2nd assist of the night. So just as it was the first time for Independence, it's Badji from Enzo Martinez. Castellanos wound up taking a shoulder, I believe, thrown by Carlos Alvarez, and it looked like the Castellanos almost went roller derby style into the railing. Castellanos, as you can imagine, none too happy over that. That goal coming in the 46th minute officially. It's going to be a throw coming up here, or a free kick coming up here, rather, for Charlotte. It was a 3-way passing play. Enzo Martinez, Ben Newnham also checked in on that, and then it was Badji, who once again came up huge. His 2nd goal. He's got the brace now. First time he scored in an Independence game.
Yeah, Badji will be pleased with that. But, you know, after missing, he scored it. Obviously scored the first one, took it delightfully, then missed a real glaring opportunity where fortuitously fell to his feet at the edge of the box. And so he probably had that in his back of his mind, and just the confidence it'll now give him, I'm sure. He'll be searching for that illustrious hat-trick.
Free foul will be called there against Newnham. And then a quick restart by Castellanos. Giveaway at midfield as Sanas tried to collect it. Akiande stripped from behind by Enzo Martinez. Here comes Newnham to the right. Chips it forward. Finley plays it for Alvarez. Charlotte with another break. Alvarez stops on the left. Chips it in. Finley tries to rake it in for himself. That one knocked away by DeFont. And then it is Stoles. Head over heels goes Castellanos, and the foul will be called. Or, excuse me, DeFont went down, and Alvarez will be hit with the foul. Carlos is racking them up tonight. So, Enzo Martinez with his third assist now in as many weeks. He's got 5 points over the last 2 games. Pass ahead, nicely done. Bedoya was looking far sideline, but it was sent out of play by Ribeiro. Manolo Sanchez has another airplane from Charlotte Douglas International Airport hovers overhead. Ball eludes Castillo, or Castellanos, I should say. Alvarez coming in to disrupt the play. DeFont. Now Ribeiro. Alvarez. Here comes Independence with Noonan. And he'll pat track. So Charlotte with 2 goals in this one. What's been a successful homestand. They've scored 8 goals so far in the last 3 games. The 2-0 victory over FC Montreal and last week's 4-2 victory over Rochester. And unfortunately, the scoreboard now has gone out.
Oh, dear. Yep.
So the players are left guessing to the time as much as anyone else. Referees are keeping track of it on the field. As the goalkeeper, Rafael Diaz, being harassed by the mech deck. Good header up ahead. Here's Finley. He's onside. He'll wait. Shift to the left. Looks to fire. Still holds his fire. Looks. Plays it alongside. Alvarez touch. Martinez to the penalty spot. Blocked away. Dodge bullet right there for the Red Bulls. Here comes Noonan to keep the pressure on. Still away from Castellanos. The center will be headed out by Thomas. And New York will survive. Castellanos up the field. Here comes Stoles. Got running room. Plays it alongside Bedoya. Looks to chip it ahead for Sanas. As kneeled away by Noonan, or Slogic rather, and taken away by Enzo. So end-to-end action here in what's been a very entertaining game for the spectators. Ribeiro. Down it goes to Finley. We see a faint reading on the scoreboard right now, but we can barely make out. I think that says 51 minutes in, but regardless, it is 2-1.
2-1, a fantastic chance. Finley's obviously come on and got it again. Once again, Independence getting behind the New York Red Bulls, and he was composed. He decided to take it round the goalkeeper, and felt that he couldn't quite squeeze a shot in. Stood the ball up, turned on it, waited. And it just allowed 2 or 3 New York Red Bulls just a chance just to get back in. But, brilliant first 5 minutes here from the Independents.
It was Pliwa who got in there with DeFont as they had to race in on the back line. Enzo sends in the free kick. He was looking for Duckett. That was headed out by Pliwa. Castellanos, and out of play, deflected by an Indy player. Scoreboard back up and running now in the 52nd minute. We see some of the Red Bulls beginning to warm up. Charlotte has made 1 substitution, with Finley checking in at the half for Danny Jackson. And Finley nearly grabbed himself his latest goal, which would have been his 5th of the year. He's still got 4, and that still leads the team, even though Finley hasn't started very much as of late. Referee trying to make some room between the New York Red Bulls players and Castellanos, who wants to throw the ball in. Quick interception. Belial Duckett there. Enzo checked off the ball by Williams. And back come the Red Bulls. This is DeFont looking for Castellanos. Instead taken away by Noonan. Oh, nice play by Del Piccolo. Alvarez works in the open field. Enzo plays the cross, and it slices right through the 6-yard box and out of play. And Del Piccolo continues to create chances now.
Yeah, Independent smell blood here, Jeff. You know, they really got New York Red Bulls by the throat here, and creating and working the ball into good crossing positions, good goal-scoring positions, and really going after that, that third goal.
Now, Piccolo has become much more adept. He was more of a defensive midfielder for much of this year, but over the last few weeks, he's been much better in dribbling. He and Raphael Cox, who came off the bench last week against Rochester. Enzo, as you can see, the scoreboard is, well, it's coming and going, but Enzo will place an in-swinging corner. Ribeiro gets a head on it. Look for Slogic. Instead, it was headed up by Thomas. And back comes New York on the counter, but that's interrupted. Jerome will fire from distance. Oh, and hit off the post from 40 yards. That would have brought the house down. He was trying to do it Carly Lloyd style, and he nearly did it. Meshach Jerome looking for his first goal of the year. And it was on target, just a little bit to the right. My heavens.
Well, you know, that shot just describes Meshach Jerome and himself. He does brilliantly well, steps into the midfield, big, strong, and really puts his foot through the ball and just bullish. The goal's still shaking now.
That thing rattled off there like it was a gunshot. Man. Just a remarkable shot by Jerome. That would have made SportsCenter.
I think I would have had my top off and celebrating that one, Jeff.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, we might have started a riot here if that had happened. Oh, a nice ball put forward once again by Noonan, but that attempt was shut down. Akinyode de Silva. Diaz sends it up the field. Duckett tries to move it away from Sanas. Chris Sanas is there. Over it goes to Bedoya. Stoles ahead. Castellanos fighting with the ball with Ribeiro. Good play by Castellanos to keep it alive. Hugs the end line, swings it in, but it goes off the body of his extended receiver and out of play.
Well, Castellanos certainly danger man for New York Red Bulls. He's been a threat all night. He's got a real touch of class about him, and he's only a small man. In comparison to Ribeiro, he manages to use that low centre of gravity just to get around the weak side of him, keep the ball in play. And he's shown glimpses of good feet. I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Jeffries as the game draws on to really withdraw Alvarez, the right midfielder, in order to double down on Castellanos as the game draws on to sort of eliminate that threat that he poses.
Yep. Castellanos has been in and out of the lineup. This is just his third start of the year, but he's played 13 games. The one calling card for this New York Red Bulls 2 team is that while it wasn't an official New York Red Bulls 2 victory, it was a victory for the senior club. They did play and beat Chelsea last month.
Yeah, they did. That was a really surprising win, 2-1 there.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of actually second-string players in.
Well, Castellanos was one of the players out there, and he scored the first goal for the Red Bulls in that game.
Yep. Just shows you, he certainly has showed a touch of class here tonight.
Another player assisted on the second goal of the evening that turned out to be the game winner. It's poor clearance there and some miscommunication between Akiande and Silva, and that results in a Charlotte throw. Here's Noonan. On the right will play it far side. That's chested down. Nicely done, and done so by Jamie Thomas. Sent it away to Diaz, and New York will take it back over. Charlotte scored just 18 seconds into the second half. It was Dominique Badji, his second of the night, second of the year. Meshach Jerome there to clear. Meshach fired a shot from about 45 yards, and it went off the right post. And it still had steam coming off of it after it ricocheted.
Yeah, well, he's been solid all round, hasn't he? I mean, defensively, he's been absolutely brilliant tonight. He does his job, he just defends, and he tactically positions himself really well. The number of interceptions he must have had, at least 3 or 4 at least in the game. He plays out simple. He's just a real solid foundation for the Independents, isn't he?
No question. What a pickup for Charlotte ever since he came aboard midway through May. Finley is to the right side. He'll charge down against DeFont, finds some room, and DeFont has to slide and concede a corner. As we're in the 58th minute, in what stands to be a big one, Charlotte going for its first 3-game winning streak.
Yeah,
New York, meanwhile, has not suffered a loss in quite some time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised now to see a couple of subs come in for New York and change some things.
Yeah.
Change some things around. Independence changed at half-time, bringing on Finley. And
Enzo bends in the corner. Ribeiro will head it along. Goes out of the box. Castellanos is there. Ribeiro takes it back. Here's Noonan playing for the left, looking for Slogic. Split between two players. Martinez keeps it in. goes up against Speedy Williams. Corkscrew by Enzo. Look for Badji. Headed out quickly by DeFont. Ribeiro had a chance. Plays it to the right. Finley is there. And we have an offside flag. Finley was a little bit ahead of the pack. Looks like one Red Bull is going to check in as he's getting instructions now from head coach John Woliak, who was one of the players who played in the early days of MLS. He was drafted by the old New York, New Jersey Metro Stars, 7th overall back in 1999, and he has played with 7 MLS teams. He played and finished his career with the New York Red Bulls. He had 75 appearances in MLS, wound up scoring 6 goals, decided to move into development, and eventually became a head coach. Back the other way. Here comes Sanchez to the right. Ball deflects in, and Slajic was run into, and it looked like Lamson collided with a New York player as well. Slajic touched the ball last. It's going to be a New York corner.
Yeah, Castellanos. How do you pronounce that? Castellanos?
Yeah, Castellanos.
Again, coming in from the inside, from the outside inside, and Stoltz was making a good run from deep and get to the byline, and the Charlotte Independence defenders just crashing in to clear it.
Here comes the corner in. Slajic with his 6'6" frame sends it out. And Leo Stoltz, the rookie, the 24-year-old, will get another opportunity.
And it's
and
important.
It looks like we're going to see, nope, not going to see the substitution as of yet.
Not quite yet, not at the corner, but it's important that Independence have really played for 15 minutes now, played in New York's half. It's important that these situations at corners and set pieces that they stay switched on, and defensively they stay focused as they're such in that attack mindset.
Stoltz sent in the corner. Slajic again headed it out. Here's Sanchez trying to play it for Stoltz, but we have an offside call against Stoltz. And with that, we should see our first New York substitution. And we'll see who goes off the field. Looks like it's going to be Bedoya checking out. And it's going to be 21, Marius Obakop checking in. Obakop, a Cameroon native. In his 3rd season, he is all of 20 years of age. Played with the New York Red Bull senior squad back in 2013 and made his debut against Sporting Kansas City. Was a member of the 2013 Red Bull team that won the MLS Supporters Shield, but not the championship. Sporting Kansas City wound up taking the MLS Cup that year. So he's in now. Regular player who has started 11 times this year. This is his 13th appearance. He has scored 3 goals. Enzo Martinez with 2 assists on the night. Goes left. Finley will let it roll to him. 2-1 Charlotte in the 60th minute. Badji. Martinez, top of the box. Tries to elude Abiaje. Martinez keeps right after it. Enzo will send the cross. It's headed out by DeFont. And New York will clear. Here comes Stoltz back the other way. Plays it alongside to Sanas, the leading scorer on the team. Sanas, defended by Duckett. Goes to Speedy Williams. Here's Sanas once again. Goes off his body. Castellanos is there. Here comes some pressure. Castellanos tries to go in the box. Noonan with a sliding challenge. And Duckett is there to send it away. Finley down the field. You hear the fans groaning as the assistant flag is up, contesting that offside call.
Yeah, it was a close one, Jeff. Finley playing on the shoulder as he likes to do. And getting in behind, but this time the referee gives him maybe half a yard or half a step just offside.
And we're going to have our second Charlotte substitution. Looks like it's going to be Raphael Cox coming in. And who is going to go out here? It's going to be Dominique Badji, who will leave the game with 2 assists. This is, I would say, a defense for offense substitution, but last week Raphael was so aggressive with the ball and looking as skilled in terms of dribbling, as we've seen all year, that maybe there's a little more to this offense with Raphael in the game than we think.
Yeah, well, he's got a good left foot and a good delivery, and just fresh legs, in a wide area. Badji's done an awful lot of running here tonight, and he grabbed a couple of good goals for Charlotte, and so his night's done. And we'll see if Raphael Cox can get himself into the game, especially on the attacking end of things. But like you say, Jeff, maybe it is a slightly more defence-minded substitution, and taking off the more attack-minded Badji for Raphael Cox.
Speedy Williams keeping after the ball, or excuse me, this is Obacop with it. Castellanos. He's got 2 men on him, Noonan and Alvarez. He manages to go up the field, trying to work his way around it. Works it to the left. And that was Jamie Thomas playing it in, but Matt Lamson came out to put a stop to that. Charlotte, as you've mentioned throughout the night, Jack, going with a lot of long balls from center. They haven't really been content to just dribble it, throw it short, and then dribble their way up. They've been going after, and they're still attacking even up 2-1.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not just pointless, aimless long balls. It's been, you know, cultured diagonal passes. You know, they found a space, either, you know, put players in 1v1 situations, either a winger or a striker that's been in, you know, opened up the space. It's been very cramped in that midfield, so they've not necessarily tried to play through through that midfield, but rather out through the fullback and then looking for that diagonal switch. But Independence have also had some good build-up play as well, so they've mixed the game up well tonight, I feel.
And it's led to 2 goals, both from Dominique Badji, who has since departed the game. Noonan with a fine late pass. Ribeiro, not known for his offense, more of a defensive midfielder, will run it down on a break now. Chips it in, and Diaz will have little pressure in handling that.
New York Red Bulls, Akinyodi, left back, is I don't know if he's getting tired or he's just getting caught a little bit out of position here, but they seem to be finding some joy in behind him.
Castellanos on the left, 1v1 situation here. He should thrive in it. Moves in against Noonan. Nice pass ahead. Here's Obacop just offside. It was a fine setup by Chris Sanas, but Obacop got a step ahead of the game.
Yeah, Castellanos again coming in, receives the ball in a wide area, really looks to come inside, and what he does by coming inside is he just draws that Charlotte defense in nice and tight, draws them in, plays a little quick combination and for an overlapping run into the wide area and finding players in good positions for New York Red Bulls. If they can get him, I think if they can get Castellanos the ball, they haven't had many chances, but I think when they get the ball to his feet, he tends to create things.
Absolutely. Well, we have our second substitution, and ironically, just as Sanas had possibly his best touch of the night, he's been pulled from the game. Stefano Bonomo has come in. So this is Stefano Bonomo in for Chris Sanas. That's the second substitution of the night for the Red Bulls. Charlotte has made 2 as well. Enzo Martinez forces a steal back the other way. Enzo tripped up. No foul. It was a dangerous play by Mike DeFont, who had a careless turnover there. Enzo nearly made him pay, and it could have easily led to a penalty. So Stefano Bonomo is in for the leading scorer. Interesting that New York would opt to take their leading scorer out of the game, and Chris Sanas. But regardless, that's going to be the hand that Coach John Woolinack plays with here in the final 25 minutes of action here, with Charlotte ahead 2-1, scoring what stands to be the game winner just 18 seconds into the first half from Dominique Badji, who is also out of the game, on an assist from Enzo Martinez. Enzo with 2 helpers on the night. Charlotte would capture 3 consecutive wins with 3 points here this evening for the first time. Duckett to Noonan, who chests it down. Pass ahead, Enzo with the give and go. Noonan breaks to the center. Up top, Del Piccolo looks for Cox. Raphael with a grounding cross that's sent out of play, and it'll be another Charlotte corner. For Charlotte, this will be its 4th corner of the night. And it looks like Enzo Martinez will handle this one, as we're in the 67th minute. Huge 3 points on the line here. It will be just as big next week when the 2 teams meet in New Jersey. That ball closes in on the line, but it goes out of play as neither Del Piccolo or Alvarez could get anything on it. We mentioned play in the CONCACAF Champions League starting last night with Real Salt Lake winning over Municipal in Guatemala City. Tonight, you want to talk about the NCAA tournament and a rivalry game all rolled up into one. It's going to be Seattle versus Vancouver in the Champions League tonight. That's going to be in Vancouver. That should be fascinating. Imagine if, I don't know, I don't think it's too far to say, imagine Duke and Carolina meeting in the NCAA basketball tournament. That's essentially what that is, considering the fierce rivalry in Cascadia.
Been an exciting one to watch.
That's going to be in action tonight. And lots more. Here's Oskop. Castellanos looks to go inside the box. Cox is there to head it out. Speedy Williams in a foot chase with Ryan Finley for the ball. Williams wins the race, keeps it alive. Jamie Thomas, Williams up the field. Obacop with it. Still dribbling, goes to the top of the box. Alvarez there to disrupt it and force the steal. Good play by Carlos to shut down Obacop. Here comes Cox running hard. Jamie Thomas can't keep up with the ball. Here's Finley now. Slogic. Del Piccolo. Back to Slogic. Charlotte ahead 2-1. Looking for its second consecutive come from behind victory. Bad strike there by Newnham gives the Red Bulls the ball back. Leo Stoles. Turnover forced by Ento Martinez. To keep that ball from getting away from him, Ribeiro is there. Here comes Patrick Slogic, and here comes Charlotte once again. Good long lead pass down the field by Slogic. Cox and a foot race after it with DeFont. DeFont dumped him. No foul. Speedy Williams. And back come the Red Bulls. Down a goal. Trying to keep its winning streak alive. Stoles. Plays it for Bonomo. Jamie Thomas is there now. Thomas has been active throughout the course of this game. Speedy Williams. Akiyande calling for the ball, feeling he's got room on the left side, but no New York player looking his way right now. Bonomo takes it to the top of the box, chested down. New York players calling for a handball on Del Piccolo, didn't get one. Last touch by New York and out of play. Not sure how close that was. Going to have another substitution in for the Red Bulls.
Yeah, there wasn't too much appeal from the New York Red Bull players, was there, Jeff? So
No.
I haven't seen a replay, but I'd go against. It wasn't a handball. If it was, I thought there'd have been a bit more of a stronger appeal for it.
It's going to be number 70 checking in now, as it will be Manolo Sanchez checking out of the game. And Victor Menislavas will check in. So Menislavas will check in for Sanchez, the third New York substitution. Akiyande. Interesting how a lot of the top offensive producers for the Red Bulls are steadily going out of this contest. They just put their leading scorer on the bench, and now Sanchez, who has 2 goals and an assist this season, also now out of the game. Long pass ahead here. Nicely done, Martinez. Didn't Gary Murrich steam on that one at all after the setup by Alvarez. And now New York with a quick counter. Here comes Leo Stoles. Obacop comes down. He'll work 1v1 against Newnham. Oh, nice juke move. Plays it very nicely. And a shot and a goal. Excellent setup. Leo Stoles scores for Marius Obacop, and that's the equalizer. An outstanding setup on the counter.
Yeah, nice goal. I mean, it would, again, like Independence's first goal, there was a good chance at the other end that New York had, and very much like that, Independence had a chance, keep a quick distribution. Stoltz carries the ball forwards, gives it to the substitution who's just come in there, Obacop, and he runs at Newman, goes inside, outside, and slides a fantastic ball back into Stoltz, who finishes really well across the goalkeeper.
So Leo Stoltz scores his 4th goal of the year. Marius Obacop will get the assist. That will be his 2nd of the year.
Well, that'll be a bit deflating for the Independents, having controlled much of the second half, really, and had the better of the half chances. So again, they didn't responded well to the first New York goal, going goal down. I'm sure it won't affect them. We'll see if they can continue to play the way they're playing. Chances, hopefully score the goals they need.
Well, it all came off the poor shot by Enzo Martinez, and after that, Diaz made the easy save, and from there, he quickly started things up. New York took it right down the field. Obakop worked his magic in a beautiful way, going one-on-one against Ben Noonan, and it led to the goal by Leo Stoles. And we're tied now at 2. Ribeiro delves in looking for the ball, gets it, plays it back for Duckett. So Charlotte needs one other to win this one and take 3 points. They still have 3 substitutions to work with, but remember, it's a very short bench tonight. Here's Castellanos. Bonomo. Lyle Duckett hounding him. Williams, Bonomo. Away it goes to Stoles, who equalized the game just moments ago. And they're working for the turnover, Martinez, and Cox takes it right back. Lead down the field, Ryan Finley. He will beat Pliwa to the ball. Now Cox will send it away. Del Piccolo might flip the field, and he does. Ben Noonan on the right, soft touch, going up against Atiande. Tries to Akiande. He'll have company with Castellanos double-teaming him, and the ball goes over the sideline. Noonan sent the ball away anyway, and we're going to have our 4th New York substitution of the night. Let's see who leaves the game now. Looks like it's going to be Akiande departing the contest, and it's going to be 51 coming in. This will be Colin Heffron, man from London, England, who played at Dartmouth. He was All-USL Week 2 in the very first game the New York Red Bulls 2 ever played. That was against the Rochester Rhinos in what turned out to be a scoreless tie.
Yeah, Akinyonde, I think he's been caused a lot of problems down here, you know, by the independents, right? Alvarez and Martinez has been drifting out here, and I think he was getting a little bit tired, so it's probably a good substitution for the Red Bulls.
This is a defensive-minded substitution as Heffron, another rookie, comes in. You take a look at that line up a lot of rookies like FC Montreal, who Charlotte defeated, but also St. Louis FC, who handed Charlotte probably its most painful loss of the season back on July 4th, that 2-1 loss that we talked about earlier. They field a lot of rookies, and the Red Bulls, too, field a lot of rookies as well. Pass down the field by DeFont. Running after it, Castellanos. And Slodgett touched it last. So Akiyonde is out. With Colin Heffron, who played with the New York Red Bulls first team in that victory that we told you about over Chelsea. He assisted on the game-winning goal in that match that was scored by Sean Davis, who does play regularly for the Red Bulls senior team. Tied up at 2 here. Cross goes over everyone's head. Cox will try to usher it to the sidelines, but the pressure put on him by Obakop will force him to play it. Noonan will send it 40 yards up the field. Finley looking at a potential foul there if he had gained possession as the assistant had waved its flag. He wasn't offside, but he was guilty of a foul and trying to keep DeFont from the ball. Regardless, Charlotte comes away with possession. Duckett to Noonan. In the 76th minute now, DeFont. Duckett. Lampson will not be able to pick it up. Pressure coming in from Bonomo. Down to the right. Thomas heads it in play and out of play. Well, Jack, it's going to take a long ball, you would think, for Charlotte to wind up scoring here, something to extend the defense, because they haven't had as many opportunities over the last few minutes. And right there, we see a long ball attempt by Alvarez that misses everything. Yeah,
well, I mean, New York Red Bulls delayed their substitutions in 15, 16, 17 minutes into the game, and I think the fresh legs has given them, the 2 or 3 players that come in and give them a little bit more impetus, and obviously it's little heavy legs there for Independence. Now, Independence did bring in, of course, Raphael Cox, but he's yet to really get himself into the game. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of fresh legs in that midfield trio, although it is very, very strong. And who do you take out? Del Piccolo, Martinez having fantastic games. Ribero's been solid, but But a little bit of impetus has been added there from New York Red Bulls and their changes that they've brought in.
We'll see if Mike Jeffries opts to cure up those heavy legs. Ball played ahead for Finley, went off his back, rings the ball down. Del Piccolo, good touch ahead to Martinez. Martinez had that one bang off his boot, and it was intercepted. Bonomo. Castellanos trying to gain the ball, can't. Slogic got in his way. That ball went off a New York player and was taken back by Cox. Pass ahead for Finley was intercepted by DeFont. Castellanos collides with Newnham out of play to New York. Again, the bench is short tonight for Independence. They don't have Zahorsky available either because he's injured. Looks like another substitute, though, is about to check into the game for Independence, and we'll see who it is. Caleb Calvert is available if Charlotte needs extra striker help.
Yep.
That might be who's coming in fact. We'll see. Of course, Zahorsky wound up All-USL last week with a goal and an assist in the victory over Rochester. Duckett sidesteps Castellanos, who's making a bid for a takeaway there. Newnham. Castellanos still working hard for the ball. Manislavas works hard to create the takeaway. Obacop, Speedy Williams. Jamie Thomas down to the right. As we're working our way toward the final 10 minutes and change of this game, locked up at 2. Thomas works it ahead. Obacop in position. He will fire, and it goes into the seats. Yeah. Obacop was a little bit quick with the trigger there.
Yeah, half chance for Obacop. Just couldn't get himself over the ball and lifts it high up into the to the Independence crowd there behind the goal. But Castellanos has now switched sides and switched flanks. Going to see if he can penetrate from the right-hand side now, coming in on his left foot. So see if that makes it any difference there for the New York Red Bulls.
Certainly does. Especially defensively, Castellanos really hounds opposing players and has done so tonight. Caleb Calvert is about to check in here for Independence. He's awaiting and will do so at the next ball that goes over the sideline or next foul. Castellanos gives it up to Pliwa. At midfield, Enzo Martinez stepped over. Alvarez sends the ball down the field to Finley. Back to Alvarez now. Lead pass for Finley was broken up by Thomas. And here comes New York back with it. This is Stoltz, who tied the game. Bonomo with it to the left side. Locked up at 2. Bonomo, Williams, looking, reverts back. Sends it across to Colin Heffron. Bonomo, pass intercepted by Cox. Newnham going for the ball. Heffron there to take it away. Colin Heffron steps in. Newnham not giving up on it yet. Chases it down. Now Speedy Williams will come up for the ball. Newnham is working hard out there. The header goes in. Jerome sends it out. Newnham sends along its way to midfield. Martinez goes after it. And once again, Leo Stolz is there, the rookie. Coughed it up, though, with Jerome. Now Williams once again. Lead pass looking for Bonomo. Went off the foot of Cox. Taken right back. Obacop stretches in. Plays it alongside. Slogic is there to clear it to the sideline. That was a huge clearance. Good, consistent possession from the Red Bulls.
Yeah, they're starting to really, put some pressure on it. I think it's about time they really got themselves back into the game. And again, I think the change will make a difference. Obacop looks very composed on the ball. Big, powerful and strong. And he's coming out on the left, and Castellanos out on the right now. So, and Charlotte are getting tired, physically tired. They just need to stay mentally tuned in now.
No doubt.
They've worked really hard, and they've played well for a good 83 minutes here.
That was a stretch there that took a lot out of Ben Newnham. He was running all over the place for that possession, and it wouldn't be surprising as Caleb Calvert comes in for Enzo Martinez to see New York go after that left side. in an effort to take the lead in this game because Ben did a lot of running over the last minute and a half. And when that ball finally went over the sideline, Newnham had a good long where he just crouched over at the waist trying to gain his breath back. It's not as humid tonight as it has been over the last few game days, but it was still very hot today. Ball out of play as it went off of Jamie Thomas. Finley with a good long ball down the field. Here's Cox with it now. Switches to the left. Good soft touch. Raphael Cox looking for his first point of the season. Has to go right in on net. Easy save for Diaz. Obacop. Hand fighting a moment ago with Ribeiro. Now it goes to Castellanos. Pass ahead, intercepted. Jerome. Alvarez. Del Piccolo. Carlos to Slogic. Intercepted. Here's Jamie Thomas on the overlap, running down the right side. The 5'7" Thomas going up against the 6'6" Slogic, and Patrick makes a sliding challenge to create a disruption. Speeding Williams. Stoles to Heffron. New York has managed to put the momentum of this game on its side now as we enter the 85th minute. Still locked up at 2. Obacamp. Castellanos. Pass ahead. Bonomo. Looking for Thomas. Instead, Bonomo tries to fire it. That one rang off the right foot of Slogic. Thomas keeps it in play. Left foot cross. Goes in. Newnham the only player there. Charlotte hasn't had nearly as many threats over the last 15 minutes. Cox looks to move on Heffron, but it's given up, and Raphael screams something that we can't see on the air in frustration.
Yeah, he frustrated himself a couple of times, give the ball away, but he just needs to concentrate, just needs to focus. Still very much in the game, collect himself. You can see he's clearly frustrated himself. He's disappointed that he wasn't able to connect the pass, and rightly slow, but playing the present.
Williams. Good touch put on it by Stoles. Thomas will put it in. Newnham lines up to head it away. Not a good clearance. Obacamp plays it to himself. Cox goes down, puts it in front of the net. Here's an opportunity from the 6-yard box. Obacamp to Bonomo. Couldn't put it in as it went off a Charlotte defender. I believe that was Duckett, and it goes out of play. Oh, Obacamp let a golden opportunity slip by there. And now another Charlotte substitution. And it's going to be Carlos Alvarez checking out now. And it's going to be Jack Thompson checking in for him. So the man who scored the first goal in Independence history is in the game, replacing Carlos Alvarez, who had a pretty good night all in all, creating some opportunities.
Number 11, Jack Thompson.
So
Yeah, Alvarez
Jack Thompson is in.
So had a solid game, very consistent. Had a couple of chances, especially in the first half, where he brought one down smartly and at the back post and fired in a good shot for Diaz to make a good save. And I would have liked to see him really go at his fullback a little bit often, but he made good runs in behind. He worked hard, and he had a solid game. So it worked well. I think Jack Thompson's a good change. I think he's attack minded, and he's got 5 or 6 minutes here to really try and get on the end of something or create one last chance for Independence.
Officials have granted both teams a dehydration break. So that's the reason why we're having a hold-up right now. Charlotte will certainly value that dehydration break, and looks like another player is coming to the fourth officials table here. And we are going to have another player come in. Looks like he's going to go off the field here for Charlotte. It's going to be 25 coming in for Independence. This is Henry Kalungi checking in. So Kalungi is in, and it looks like Patrick Slogic is out of the game. So Slogic out, Henry Kalungi checks in. Kalungi in his 6th season played last with Richmond. They took Finley out of the game. That was the announcement.
No, that's a mistake.
That's not correct. Finley's still out there. It was Slogic who was taken out, number 4, not number 9.
Yep.
Ball goes into the box, headed free. Poke free for just a moment. Stoles goes after it, battling, and it's going to be a goal kick. Going for the ball that time. Andrew Ribeiro was after it, and he managed to send that ball along to the goal line. As we're in the 87th minute now. Going to have at least 2 more minutes of added time because of that dehydration break, and there'll probably be more than that. Kalungi takes over the ball as Duckett gave Castellanos an extra shove to keep him from it. Kalungi, 50-yard long ball. Finley goes after it, can't. Caleb Calvert there going for it, can't get it either. To the left side, Oberkamp, who assisted on the equalizer. And it's going to be offside called. As getting ahead of the game that time was number 70, Menislavas.
Number 4, Patrick Slogic came out.
Tied up at 2 after a goal by Leo Stoles from Marius Oberkamp. Equalized things here. Now Charlotte looking for a goal that would give them 3 goals on the night and possibly 3 points in the standings. Finley chested. And then Finley looking for a handball. Won't get it. Colin Heffron, in the opinion of the Independence fans, touched it with his hand blatantly. No call, though. Speedy Williams goes to Menislavas. Jamie Thomas, double teamed, forced to give it up. Jerome, there to Ribeiro. Still 2-2 as we come down in the waning minutes of this game. Newnham goes after the ball, and then Caleb Calvert trips up, and number 44, Mike DeFont, and that looks like it's going to be a booking. Calvert pleading his case, but he's going to be served a yellow. We saw Caleb pick up a red late in the game against St. Louis, a straight red.
Yeah, it's
Here's just a yellow.
Just a late tackle. A late tackle, you know, he's got honest intent. He's trying to win the ball. He thinks he can slide in there and nick it. And defender, the New York Red Bulls defender gets there first, DeFonte, and nicks it away from him. And, I mean, it's a yellow card. It's what it is. But
DeFont's still down as we have reached the 90th minute, and there will be 3 minutes of stoppage time here. I imagine that will start once the ball is put into play here by Speedy Williams, as DeFont is still struggling. If you're New York, you will take this draw, as you'll need the extra point in the standings here, and once all is said and done, you'll still be 8 points ahead of Charlotte after the first of 4 very big games coming up for Independence over the next month. And when Charlotte returns to Ramblewood Soccer Complex, they hope to be either in the thick of the playoff chase or else they'll be playing out the string. Ball played ahead by Meshach Jerome. Enzo Kalungi keeps it in play. Finley comes up the far sideline. Castellanos troubling him, and it's going to be Charlotte ball. Plenty of hemming and hawing about who should get possession to the far side of the field.
yeah, New York Red Bulls weren't happy with that. It was right in front of their bench, but I think they were just trying to put the referee under a little bit of pressure.
Newnham tried to sidestep Oberkamp, couldn't do it, but it's off of Oberkamp for a long throw here. Charlotte in the attacking third. They haven't been here often over the last few minutes. Calvert tries to chest it down, can't. Bonomo there to play it along. Up it goes to Stoles, who equalized the game. Stoles working against Newnham and Ribeiro. Andrew swipes in, and he sent the ball off of Stoles out of play. Quick throw coming up here. Well, looked like that Ribeiro put it in just as Newnham was about to throw it in. Referee wanted only one ball out there, of course, and that created confusion. Well, it also created confusion over the fact that who was going to get possession. It's actually Red Bull's ball. That's what official Daniel Thorpe ordered, and that is what will happen. Bonomo got it from Heffron. Newnham pokes it away, and this time will be Charlotte ball. Wilcox up the sideline. Calvert trying to free it up. Del Piccolo intercepted by Williams. Castellanos, both teams looking to take the lead now in injury time. After Charlotte opened up the scoring in the second half, 18 seconds in, only to have the Red Bulls equalize it. Here comes Finley, playing it up the field. Quickly sent out by DeFont. Corkscrewing to the right, Oberkamp. And we're going to have a foul here against Newnham. Not a smart foul by Newnham. If he had just let Oberkamp be there, it was going to be Charlotte ball.
Yeah, it gives Red Bulls now one last chance to throw the dice here. Just be interested to see if they put people in the box or go short at this stage of the game.
It will be Stoles lining up over the ball. Moving toward the net is Bonomo. Stoles instead goes back with it. That tells you that New York might be content with a 2-2 result here.
Yep,
and they will get that. That's the final whistle. And just as that whistle sounds, Ryan Finley puts his jersey up right over his head. There have been several times where Charlotte feels like they've let one get away this season. The game against Harrisburg City back on April 24th, which ended in a 1-1 draw. And this one has to feel that way a little bit here tonight. Charlotte really controlled this game, especially in the final 30 minutes of the first half. And yet, Jack, they come away only with 1 point in the standings at a time when they need 3 points. A 2-2 final here tonight at Ramblewood Soccer Complex.
Yeah, well, they've still got games in hand, so they keep that 8-point difference between themselves and New York Red Bulls. For large spells of the game, Jeff, they did control the game, or at least create the better chances were in that game. And unfortunately, there was a spell in that first 5 or 10 minutes in the second half there where they had 3 or 4 really good opportunities and just weren't able to capitalise on it. Finley, one in particular, sticks out in my mind right after the second goal where he rounded the keeper. And it's just little things like that, that I think they're playing well. I think Coach Jeffries will be very, very happy with the performance. They just can't quite find the back of the net or kill off the opponent to the point where they're taking home the 3 points they deserve.
Absolutely. And Charlotte will look back at that missed opportunity you talked about right after the second goal of the night that was scored by Dominique Badji. And Charlotte was in a lull for a lot of the contest. Unfortunately, they wound up giving up the second goal on a gorgeous give and go from Marius Oberkamp to Leo Stoles, and it results in a 2-2 tie here tonight between Charlotte and the New York Red Bulls 2. We're going to pause and come back now for final thoughts after this as you're watching Charlotte Independent Soccer on YouTube. Jeff Hamlin here with Jack Vundam as Charlotte Independence winds up tying the New York Red Bulls 2, fittingly enough, at 2-all. I'm Jeff Hamlin Vundam, and Charlotte wound up having to come from behind, and they had the lead for about 30 minutes in this game, but they couldn't quite finish things out. First goal wound up coming from none other than Franklin Castellanos, who scored from 20 yards out. And Jack, it was a gorgeous strike that he had off a Charlotte giveaway in the 5th minute of the game.
Yeah, he had a very good game, and showed a touch of class. He was very good on the ball and created Charlotte problems. He was, in the meat of the game where Charlotte were really on top and creating chances, Castellanos was there, only sort of shining light almost, and he had a good game. And 2-2 result, Jeff. I think New York Red Bulls, to be fair to them, finished very, very strongly in the last 15 to 18 minutes, and they'd probably argue that a 2-2 result was a fair result. But you look at Independence and the chances that they had, and maybe from a Charlotte Independence perspective, that they'll feel a bit aggrieved, or that they didn't really take 3 or score 3 or 4, and like they did the week before against Rochester. Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. In the first half, Charlotte wound up getting the equalizing goal from Dominique Badji on an assist from Enzo Martinez, and then it was, as you just saw a moment ago, Charlotte's last goal, which came just 18 seconds into the second half. It was in the 46th minute, and another assist from Enzo Martinez. That gave Charlotte a 2-1 lead. But then the final goal of the night, equalizer, coming from Leo Stoles as he scored for Marius Oberkamp. And that brought us the 2-2 result. With this tie, Charlotte is now 6-6-6 on the season. They are at 24 points. They are still in 8th place in the Eastern Conference. New York has tied Richmond for 4th place now in the Eastern Conference with 32 points. However, Richmond does have a game at hand on the Red Bulls 2. And Richmond will be in action coming up this weekend as the Kickers will be at Harrisburg City. And what's another game that will factor in big in the playoffs. Well, unfortunately, this is Jack's final game with us here this year, as he won't be with us for the final 3 broadcasts that will soccer complex. You have to concentrate on your duties at Wingate with the women's soccer team.
Jeff, yep.
Jack, it was wonderful talking to you this year,
been
and
a pleasure.
Hopefully we can do it again next year.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to it. It's been enjoyable, and I'll obviously keep following the Independents. Hopefully they can finish out strong and make the playoffs.
Absolutely. Well, Patrick Daka will be here for our next broadcast. That will come your way August the 22nd, when once again Charlotte Independence will take on the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Between now and then, Charlotte will have road games at New York next Wednesday, and then on Saturday, August the 15th, against the aforementioned Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Charlotte had their chances, couldn't quite take advantage of them, but it was the best night in the young professional history of Dominique Badji. He finishes up with 2 goals, his first 2 goals in an Independence uniform. And tonight, Charlotte finishes in a 2-2 tie with the New York Red Bulls 2. For Jack Vundam and our entire crew, I'm Jeff Hamlin saying goodnight from the Ramblewood Soccer Complex.